into a machine, and I would take them over to Lake Washington. So it's actually possible.
Finally made it to Pike Market in Seattle. Getting ready to do a little tour of the farmers market here.
And a man named Thomas Ravel comes to our rescue. He proposes a farmers market on the corner of First and Pike right here.
Doughnuts.
Well, right behind you here is Market Spice. They're the oldest established business in the market. They were started in the 20s. But you can check them. Apparently it's actually a subspecies of the giant Pacific octopus that's a little bit bigger. That's
wow.
How about TT? That was nice. One more. This way, our completion rate is better than a lot of professional athletes that get paid millions of dollars. So
that's good. Good answer.
I got a question. Can I ask a question? What's your question? Can I have that rock? It's your shirt. It's your shirt.
You got to throw a few more fish than that.
That's okay. Come out. So that's how it was for me, right? I was a bartender back in 2003, and I got this call on a Saturday, and my buddy said, hey, I know you're burned out on bartending, you want out. He said, hey, our new guy got fired. We've got a part-time job. It's going to be temporary. It was actually July of 2003. He said the job's going to probably last until September of 2003. Just so you know, it's a couple months, you can look for something else not in the bartending world. He said, all right, cool. It was a Saturday. He said, cool, be here tomorrow at 6:30 and be ready to sweat. And I'm like, all right. So I came down the next morning. What was supposed to have been a temporary job has turned out to be my life. 60 hours a week. So
wow.
Yeah. So that's really it, man. Everybody the first 3 months ago working here, it's probation. You know, it's because the way we see it is just not everybody can do this job. It does take a certain kind of person to do what we do. Last summer, I think we went through like 4 new guys. Like they just come in and they think it's all like autographs and hot chicks. It is. But as the new guy, you got like a lot of garbage dumping and a lot of like ice shoveling, and then you get like a tiny bit of like autographs and hot chicks. So for me, I'm sitting pretty now, so you know.
We knew that the key to getting hot chicks was to throw fish. I never would have guessed.
Yeah, what's up with that? I think a lot of us realize that once we get in here, our quality of life, we work so much, but we have a really good quality of life. The owner, he's cut from a different cloth because most business owners do not interact with their employees the way that Johnny, we're like his kids. He kind of treats us that way. So he supports us in every aspect of our lives. So, like I'm moving on to do something else soon. And he's like, you know what? As long as you're committed to making a difference, once you leave here, making a difference in the world in a positive way, he's like, I'll support you the whole way through it, you know? So, and then he's also, and then anytime you want to come back, you work for a day, just show up, you know? So, it's good. Cool. It's a good spot.
Cool. Thank you very much. That was downright inspiring. So this is Rachel the pig, and she's now the official market mascot. Rachel brings in about $10,000 a year in currency from all over the world, and all that money goes to the cool, wonderful things that the Market Association does. We have a food bank, we have a medical center, we have a lot of low-income and elderly housing, things like that. Eggplants, or aubergines if you're British, are the largest berry in the world. And there's a sex to them. There's boys and there's girls. You care because the boys taste better. The girls have more seeds, so the boys are going to put more energy into the flavor parts of the fruit rather than the seeds. This is actually a brilliant example of that. I don't usually get one this good. The boys have a dot and the girls have a line. It has to do with how they attach to the plant when they first start forming. But you want to look for the dots, not the lines.
Beautiful. Chowder.
So this is chukka cherries.
Cherries? Oh, peaches are the first few ingredients. Truffle cherry.
Early in the morning, about 5 a.m., a milk truck pulls up here and pumps about 10,000 gallons worth of milk into Beecher's cheese. Now, Alaska Airlines Magazine, their in-flight mag, wrote this place up for their mac and cheese, their quote-unquote world's best mac and cheese. Said if there's one thing you do while you're in Seattle, try this mac and cheese. So, has anyone heard of a Persian before? They're little Russian, they're little Russian pastries. So I'm going to come around, so we've got beef and cheese and we've got salmon pate. Salmon's shaped like a fish, the beef is not. These are what we call buskers here at the market. Busker is a European term, but it's just what we call street food.
Saturday night and I ain't got nobody. I got somebody who just got friend. How I wish I had right now. I'm here on with
There's a couple of rules: no brass horns, no proper drums, and no electrical amplification. That keeps the noise levels to a minimum. They have to play in their designated spots. There's big red musical notes on the ground painted there, and they all have a number inside. That number gets bigger as you go away from the center of the market, and is how many people can be in your group. That way, again, it'll keep the noise levels to a dull roll. They can only be in one spot for an hour. At every hour on the hour, you have to move to a different spot or get in line behind someone else. Because that way, if you have a prime spot like the first Starbucks, you can't monopolize it all day long. But the truth of the matter is, if you go in there, there's a big sign, the very first Starbucks. If you ask anyone where the very first Starbucks is, that's where they'll direct you. I direct people there all the time. But it's not. It's the fourth. The very first Starbucks, it was in the basement of a hotel that doesn't exist now. And I love the image of that squat little market there with all those little stalls, surrounded by like condos and office buildings, more condos. And go ahead and grab one of these. They're all crab, very little breading. So guys, this is our last stop. It's time for us to bid that tearful farewell. I know it's hard, but you're gonna need to be strong.